Making his debut on Sid and Friends in the Morning, Isaac Bougie Herzog. Mr. President, welcome to the radio show. How are you, pal?
Fine, dear Sid. Good morning to you from the holy city of Jerusalem.
God bless you, and I'm glad you're okay. And, you know, what you folks are doing there is just, you know, you're saving the world. But I do want to tell you, Mr. President, that when I did come visit you in that office, I really enjoyed that. You know, look, I'm a staunch Republican. You and I don't exactly see eye to eye on every political issue. But I have to say that our conversation was great and one of the highlights of my 3 trips to Israel. So thank you so much.
It was an honor, and by the way, you know, I always believe that human beings agree on many things and could also disagree. That's life. But we agree on the core issues, you know what? Of life, liberty, the right of Israel to defend itself, pursuit of happiness, all the good rules that our democracies are based on.
100%. And look, we know this. You and the Prime Minister, Bibi Netanyahu, you guys don't agree on everything, but it seems to me like everybody, Mr. President, you, the Prime Minister, no matter who it is, even the opposition, seems to me like everybody is on the same page right now. Yes?
Absolutely. I'm explaining to your listeners that I am the head of state of Israel, and the prime minister is the head of the executive branch. It's more like the European system. So my aim is to make sure the country is unified, and we are indeed very much unified when we are dealing head-on with the empire of evil from Tehran. And I just got back from reviewing some of the sites which were bombed by Iranian missiles, you know, a science center that does good, people's homes, from toddlers to old age were bombed. But the Israelis are damn resilient and strong, and our aim is to get those damn nukes out of Tehran.
Yeah, we have to do that. That's the bottom line. And, you know, it's funny, Mr. President, I walked into your office and the first thing I saw was this thing on the wall from Joe Biden. I said, Mr. President, you know who I am, right? You go, yeah, I know who you are, but he's not the president now. He was when I was visiting you. Now it's President Trump. And, you know, President Trump has been with you guys, with Israel. He flew back early from Canada yesterday. He has made the announcement that he's, quote unquote, joining the war. When it comes to money and weaponry, I think he's been terrific. What are your thoughts, Mr. President, on the United States president so far during this conflict?
So I will first explain that this conflict, in the way I see it, is not something that we yearned for. We went to defend ourselves because we understood that the Iranian atomic bomb is quite close, and we have a rule. We always remove that threat because this is the worst threat of humanity. But by that, we're also defending both the Middle East and the free world and the national security interests of all of the major countries in the free world, because you don't want a jihadist empire of evil with nuclear bombs. You don't. And that is why we see eye to eye with the United States. We have huge respect for President Trump. He's a very popular person in Israel. And you mentioned correctly, you know, Joe Biden came to visit me in honor of Israel's 75th, and it was a very moving event. And now Donald Trump, again, is reiterating his incredible commitment to the defense of Israel, its well-being, and peace in our region.
If I ask you something and you can't give me the answer based upon national security, just say, I love you, Sid, but I can't answer. It's okay, because one of the questions is these bunker buster bombs, the mother of all bombs, what people seem to think you're going to need to penetrate the real nuclear facilities that are underground in Iran. We have them. Trump has them. The United States have them. You guys need them. I think you need them. Do you think, Mr. President, you're going to need those bombs to really finish the job?
So you're so smart, as always, to understand that I won't give you an answer, but I'll say something which is really important. Look, you know, in the main site that they're producing that nuclear bomb is a site that needs special focus, and that is why you're asking this question, and I trust the judgment of all people concerned on how to deal with it. The last thing I want to do is to give advice or recommendation. Each country is an independent country. But I think the United States has a huge, huge historic role in the world to protect the world from deteriorating to evil. You don't want a jihadist ideology with nukes controlling the Middle East, threatening the entire vision of, what you'd call free world civilization. You don't. And this is exactly what their aim. Look, they're saying it all the time. They're saying Israel is the big Satan, Israel is the small Satan, America is the big Satan, eradicate Israel, fight America. So we have to understand that there are moments that these things need to be taken care of, and I'm sure smart people are discussing it seriously.
Two more will let you run. This is my friend Isaac Herzog, Bougie, the president in Israel, doing a terrific job this morning. And by the way, Bougie loves New York. Just he comes here, he loves it here.
I love New York. I graduated the Ramaz School in New York. I love New York for many years, and I feel at home, and I have many friends. And, New York is a pulsating heart. And remember, New York went through the horrible 9/11. Same ideology, don't forget.
That's true. And don't forget, next year, 2026, believe it or not, Mr. President, that'll be the 25-year commemoration of 9/11. One more on Iran. I think most people seem to think, and I do, I admit I think it, that once we wipe out all their nuclear capabilities, take out all their missile launchers, we're over 40% now. That's terrific. And all the weaponry that they use to kill us, I think that we do have to eliminate the Khomeini. Do you have any thoughts on that?
So look, there's no way I'm going to comment on that directly because we know who the thugs are, and we know who the villains are, and we know who leads them. But I must say, when we all have respect for the Iranian people, we believe it's about time that they're freed of oppression and dictatorship, and they have the right to move on, and they should move on. For decades, that regime has been spreading terror all over the world, terror cells all over the world, supplying armament all over the world, establishing proxies which are impacting the cost of living of every person in the world because of freight costs. For example, why should a tiny tribe in Yemen called the Houthis, 50,000 people in all, hold weapons of an empire like ballistic missiles and cruise missiles and a whole army? And that the reason is because it's in proxy of Iran, like Hamas, like Hezbollah. So the heroes of Israel, the great young and people of Israel, men and women, went to fight against this empire of evil. It's about time the world stands up to them and says, no more.
What's interesting is during this fight with Iran, I think people kind of forgot about Gaza and Hamas. I know you didn't, Bougie, because I know how much you love your people, and we still have 55 hostages there. We're not really talking about them the last couple of days. I get it, because if we wipe out Iran, then we don't have to worry about an October 7th ever again. But we do have to remember that there are still hostages in the South, right?
We must remember there are 53 hostages in Gaza, in the dungeons of Gaza, going through the worst hell possible. We need to get them back as soon as possible. And I tell all people who strive for peace, and I strive for peace, I believe there will be a day we will live in peace with our Palestinian neighbors and move on with the nations around us who want peace. For that, you need the key in the door, and the key in the door is bringing back our hostages.
Last one, quickly. You just visited the sites, some of the buildings that were leveled, and people unfortunately died. Very, very sad, like you said, from babies to elderly in Tel Aviv and Haifa, some of those spots. So on the way out, Mr. President, could you give me the mood of the Israeli people right now?
Unbelievable mood. A very strong, resilient nation who, carries the scars of pain throughout history, definitely the scars of the past few generations, but they're damn strong. And life goes on, and people do whatever they need to do. And I went to 2 hospitals who moved all their staff and patients down into the bunkers, into the underground, and it's amazing to see. Everything is quiet, everything well managed. Life goes on. Of course, it's a disturbance to life because we protect the people, and we developed unique technologies on how to protect the people. So we will move on. We shall overcome, and we will overcome.
The Herzogs, many generations of very special people, from my friend Bougie on the phone right now to his father, to his grandfather. You really are a special guy, Isaac. Thank you so much for hopping on today, and please be safe.
Thank you, my dear. We love you, buddy. All the best from Israel.
We love you, too. Thank you. That meant a lot to me. Thank you so much. I'll see you in Jerusalem soon. There he is, folks, the president of Israel. What a super guy, Isaac Bougie Herzog.